Hello and welcome everyone to this episode of Content Marketing Commute. It's great to have you here. We are here in Vondelpark in Amsterdam and so excited. We have upped the production quality of this episode, and yes, we are on bikes. Unbelievable. We're on bikes here today, the first time ever on Content Marketing Commute, to talk about an interesting topic. It's one around customer marketing. Why don't we market more to our customers? That's what we're going to be talking about today, and joining me on this episode is someone who's doing it every day. She is a content marketer specifically focused on the customer audience at her company, and her name is Anne Louth of Folion. Here she is right about now. There you are, Anne.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, you?
Brilliant. I'm very well, thank you very much. Isn't this amazing? We're just on a leisurely stroll through Vondelpark on your way to work.
On my way to work.
Amazing.
Yeah, totally.
So tell us a little bit about you, Anne. What sort of work do you do at Folion, and tell us a bit about the company.
Cool. So Folion is a content management platform and creation. What we do is we allow our customers to create content in a more engaging way.
Yeah.
So for example, a lot of companies, they create this like kind of boring white papers and
Totally.
PDFs, downloadables that no one reads and
man.
that just die in your desktops. Well, we really want to put an end to that.
Nice.
So we're on a mission to really put an end to PDFs, kind of.
Oh, the PDF. Don't
Yeah.
get me started about the PDF. It's time the PDF died.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's never going to die, but I do think that this is one of our main missions, is
Yeah.
really to create engaging content. And I find it really cool.
Love that.
So that's why I joined. And what I do there is I work as the customer content marketeer, which
Okay.
is very specific. It's a first for me. But I really like it. So
Very cool.
what I do is obviously create content.
Specifically for that audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. And we'll get into that in this episode. It's going to be a fantastic chat. First of all, though, you are French, right?
I am. Yeah.
And I live in France. What an amazing connection.
Came all the way to Amsterdam just to
To
interview
talk to
a French person
I
again.
love it. On pourrait faire cet épisode en français,
On pourrait.
mais the other people won't understand.
No, I don't
so
think
we'll
so.
do it in English.
Yeah.
So good. And so how did you end up in Amsterdam?
Well, yeah, it's kind of a usual story for everyone. My boyfriend found a job here and I
Okay.
came, but I already had been to Amsterdam before and I knew that it was a city that I would like.
Yeah.
And I do. And I think marketing-wise, there's like thousands of opportunities,
Yeah.
right? So
It seems like a really cool startup city.
yeah.
Lots of really cool.
Yeah, especially for
opportunities.
SaaS companies, because I work in the SaaS company, obviously.
Yeah.
There are like so many. It's incredible.
Wow, so cool. Here we are passing a beautiful little lake. You'll see that on the shot soon. Look, it's just so good to be here. This is the rain has held off. It's an early spring day here
We're
in
really
Amsterdam.
lucky. Yeah.
We're very lucky. It's fantastic. Anne, let's get into this a little bit more. So you talked about how you've been literally, your role is really focused on the customer audience right
Yeah.
now. First of all, let's get into how that is different in some ways to previous roles you've done in content marketing.
Yeah, super interesting. Yeah. Well, I've always been working in content marketing, but more for lead generation, right?
Okay, sure.
And
Which is the classic kind of setup. Here.
I do feel like everything I'm seeing on LinkedIn is mostly focused on top of the funnel content. And
It seems to be the default for some reason.
yeah, it is kind of. But I do feel like, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. I don't know if this is a bit technical, but
No, that's interesting. That's real cool.
it's often left out, and that's what I focus on.
Yeah.
It's all about retention. And in my team, we also have an education specialist,
Yeah.
two education specialists actually, one for the product and one for customer education.
Okay, cool.
And I'm more focused on the marketing side of everything.
Okay. So let's get into your team a little bit. So you sit within a customer marketing team.
Yeah.
Can you go into their roles a little bit more, like you just mentioned there? But
Yeah. So I'm gonna say their name.
Yeah.
Hello.
please. Shout out.
So there's Lupke. She's customer education specialist. So
Okay.
she's the one who created the whole academy. So HubSpot, they have an academy, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
it's the same. We also
Oh,
have an
love that.
academy with, except Ours is better, obviously.
Oh, whoa.
No, sorry, HubSpot. I don't mean to say that.
Because is HubSpot like one of your competitors?
No, they're not. Not at all. We actually use them. So
Okay, good, okay.
I really like you, HubSpot. No, yeah. So she created the academy, and she creates lessons for our customers, video lessons for our customers.
Okay.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Of course, she does like so many more things, but that's her focus. And there's Joren. He's a product education specialist. So he's more focused on creating content around the product itself. So more like the help center, support articles, so very technical stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's me, customer content marketeer.
Okay, cool.
So it's more about the marketing, and because their role is less marketing-y, it's more about educating.
Right.
And I'm more about, kind of upselling, nurturing the customer.
Yeah.
It's all about the whole retention phase.
Retention.
Yeah.
So the outcomes you're trying to drive are the adoption of the product, the retention of customers.
Exactly. And that's how
cool.
we've built it as well.
Cool. Just aside, like that whole academy piece, I think is so cool because it's not product centered, but you're really helping people see this space in the way you do, like see the world the way your company wants to see it. In a way.
Exactly.
And HubSpot got me so good on that. Like
they're
back
amazing.
In I don't know, back in like 2008, I was a young marketer and inbound marketing, I just like devoured it. Yeah.
I'm the same. Yeah.
And then you find you just become kind of like loyal to the brand because they've taught you things and they've
definitely
educated you.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. And like one thing I want to get into here is, so you've got a customer marketing team. Can you talk me through how that's different to product marketing? Because first thing I haven't worked in a company that has customer marketing, but a lot of what you describe, I think product marketers and companies I've been in have been doing before,
Yeah, I think it's a really good question because obviously we work really closely together, and I'm going to be really honest, this is my first time in a customer marketing team as well.
Yeah.
But I still really enjoy it. But I think they were kind of struggling as to whether they should hire a product marketeer or a customer content marketeer.
Right.
They went for customer, but I mean, now I do a bit of both. Mm-hmm. But I work really closely with the product marketeer.
Okay.
And what she does is obviously like decide how to market the product, each feature, how to sell them, how to talk about it, the benefits, the value of each feature.
Yeah.
And what I do, it's kind of like she's the first step and then I'm the final step as to how we're going to tell that to our customers, how we're going to segment it. Because now we have I think more than 10,000 customers in our database,
wow.
right? I mean, not companies, right? But contacts, yeah. So obviously you need to segment that. Mm-hmm. I think that's my role. Okay. So it's more about distributing the workload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Nice. Really cool. So yeah, that's really interesting. And what do you, we were talking about this a little bit off camera. We maybe have a different experience of it, but my experience is that not that many companies are marketing actively to their customers.
Yeah.
Like in roles I've done before, it's get people in the door and then, maybe the CS team manages it from there.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not a marketing contact. It's not a marketing touch point.
Yeah.
Do you have that experience or a little bit different?
Yeah, I do have the same experience. In my past company, which was also a SaaS company, I was working as global content manager.
Yeah.
And we were working with customer success managers as well, but it was, less focused on marketing. And what I love about this here is that we're really working super tightly. If I had both my hands, I would put my fingers together.
Super tight.
Yeah. But we're working
Maybe we could
super
do
tight.
this. Tightly.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think so your question was about the difference, right?
Or I don't know, why people aren't, my sense is that a lot of companies aren't doing it and they just leave it to CS, but they're not marketing. Sure, they're managing the relationship with the customer.
Yeah.
But they're not marketing to them.
No, they're not. And yeah, it's a bit different because people always see marketing as kind of selling things all the time. And I think our mission is less on the selling part. Because what I love about it is that we're talking to customers who have already been converted, right? They all already know the value of the platform. They're already aware of their pain points, which is one of the main, I think, challenge when you're working in lead generation, right? You want to make people realize that they have a pain point.
Yeah, totally. So you're already past that.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah.
It's all about making them realize the potential of the platform, right? Because there's so many features that they could be using and so many different use cases, different content types. educating them on different content types. And I mean, that's how you find me. I talk about content all the time because it's one of my passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's so cool to do that as a living, like to tell people, tell companies, hey, have you ever explored X content type for X use case?
Very cool.
So cool.
Yeah. So you're one of, what we haven't covered is you're one of these content marketers marketing to content marketers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like
it's
like Inception or something. Yeah.
Inception, totally.
And actually, this is a podcast about content marketing for content marketers, and we're content marketers.
Oh wow.
The levels, my brain
starting
hurts.
to get a headache.
Yeah. But no, I love that, and we all know that quote of like, it's X number of times less expensive to retain a customer than it is to win a new one.
Yeah.
And it's like, from a marketing perspective, for some reason we don't, I think we know that in our heads, but we don't like fully think it through. We just think, okay, like that's CS's role or that's another team's role.
Yeah.
But I love that. Yeah, it's like once they're in the door, it's not over.
No, it's not.
No, and you got upsell and cross-sell. And,
exactly. I think it's all about the funnel, right?
Yeah.
And it's important to keep that in your head when you're thinking about your content strategy. Like keep it throughout the whole funnel.
So good, so good. Maybe we could just dive into those. Oh my gosh.
No
sorry. We could dive into those different outcomes that you're trying to drive. 'Cause that could be really interesting for people. Is like, so if we talk about like upsell, what sorts of things, can you talk me through what sorts of actions or tactics you're using?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I'm actually trying to figure that out for myself. One of my missions is to make the customer realize the benefits of other plans, right? And I don't really like the word upselling.
Within your offering, okay. Well, there's some dogs just ahead of us that have gone crazy. This is like, what I always say about the podcast is content marketing in the wild. You never know what's going to jump out of you.
Yeah.
Just like doing a content marketing job. You've got to be nimble. You've got to be ready for action, ready for anything.
Yeah.
That dog's just sprinting ahead of us. Okay, please go ahead.
No, anyway, So I don't really like the word upselling because it's more like, you're going to upsell one feature, and that's not something that we do because that's not how you get full value of the platform. It's more like, like full-on usage.
Right. You're trying to get people to really use it to its full capacity. Yeah,
kind of. I think it's kind of like, I mean, HubSpot and SEMrush, they're kind of like my go-to models when I think about SaaS because they have a great marketing strategy, right?
Totally.
And they also do it that way. They don't really upsell one feature. They usually upsell like a whole, I don't know, like marketing activities or stuff like that.
Well, kind of like, that's often what you find in SaaS is like, people buy the product and then oftentimes the way they use it is only a very limited part of it, or they don't fully understand how to use it in the way it's been designed to use. Yeah.
I mean, if you take SEMrush for an example, like, it's the SEO platform. I mean, there's so many features, and I'm only using like the one where I can like see what my competitors are doing.
Yeah, sure.
And they do this so well at like promoting the rest of their. I mean, on that example, they do it sometimes on feature based, but they're a great example for that.
Okay, really cool. So in that space, when you're looking to upsell, it's interesting how you describe it. I think that's really cool. Like, you're not thinking upsell in your mind. You're thinking like
expansion.
Expansion. Yeah. And how do I show people the opportunities of what they could be doing?
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you have any like concrete? I mean, I know you're not too long into the role, right? How long are you into the role?
2.5 months now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we could just be brainstorming. No.
I think it is actually a brainstorm for me.
Yeah, this is great. So do you have any like initial thoughts? Have you been having any initial thoughts around how, specific content types or specific formats or ways of communicating?
Well, right now I'm very focused on success stories. They're actually my favorite type of content, which is why I really love this role, because you get to talk to customers.
Yeah.
And what is great about success stories is that you talk to customers who are using a specific plan. They're on a specific plan. And this is already a great way of showing to other customers, hey, look at what they have achieved with this plan.
Yeah.
Hey, that could be you.
Love that. And kind of like, it just makes it so much more concrete than like telling them about another plan or something.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, for example, this is getting personal, but I'm dating a developer, and he's a lot like about like product development, but I think in his head, marketing is all about, manipulating people, and I don't see it that way, obviously, but I really try to put that into my job. Like, it's not about like selling you stuff. I just want to show you what else you could be doing, you know?
That's really cool. I sense you have some discussions about that topic
Oh,
together.
yeah. Oh, yeah, all the time. Because obviously I work with developers as well, so it's kind of funny.
Do you like come home and he's like, who did you manipulate today?
Nah. I think we've been avoiding the topic for a while. And yesterday I asked him, do you think marketing is interesting? And he said, nope. Nope.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, okay,
Developers,
let's
man.
not talk about it.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. So that's kind of like that upsell expansion piece. Do you have any thoughts on like the retention piece? Because that's another outcome you have. Is that different in a way, or is it still about expanding?
I think it depends on obviously each company's like vision.
Yeah.
But for us, retention, I would say expansion is part of the retention phase, because obviously at some point they're going to be reaching a limit, because each plan, for example, I mean, I'm getting very technical here, but each plan have a specific number of docs or stuff like that. So if they want to go forward, then they're going to have to expand.
Yeah.
So I would say it's part of it, but retention goes way further, right? It's also about nurturing, and nurturing is the only thing I can think of right now.
No, that's okay. Yeah, totally. And I think it's like, to me in my head, they're really linked, that upsell / expansion and retention, because if you can get people to understand all the opportunities and different ways of using it, you might be more likely to retain them because they start seeing more and more value.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, and so we talked a bit about collaboration with with one specific team, product marketing.
Yeah.
And actually in these interviews that I've been doing for Content Marketing Commute, it's come up, I didn't think about it before, but how much the role of a content marketer is about collaborating. And you have to be so good at pulling the best out of different teams, and
so true.
You know, it can't all be coming out of your own head, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So talk to us about, the different kinds of people, different teams that you work with. We talked about product marketing already, but what are the other ones?
Yeah. I think it's one of the things I love about this role is that you get to talk to almost everyone, right? Especially in my new role now, it's because I'm also working on the product. So I also talk to developers.
Okay.
Usually, if you talk to any team, marketing and development, they usually don't really talk.
Yeah.
But I get to talk to product and developers. And I think that's really cool.
Do you mean they just don't really talk in general, or you don't talk to them?
No,
They're just a bit quieter.
I'm not gonna say anything, otherwise I might end up single.
No,
so.
right. No, that's good.
Yeah.
So you work a bit with the product team and developers.
Yeah.
What do you look to, what do you look to work with them on, or what do you look to, in a way, get out of them? That's a weird way to say it. But.
So developers, obviously, I don't talk to them that much. It's more on technical questions. But for products, I would say that they usually give me the insights of what's new with the upcoming new launches. And as I mentioned before, and this is very important, the value messaging.
Yeah.
Because this is going to shape our whole customer communications of what's this feature bringing to the table? How is this going to change their experience in the platform?
Yeah.
So that's for products. But I think I would have to answer also that I work super closely with customer success as well.
Yeah,
I think they're the two teams that I work the closest with, obviously marketing. Actually, funnily enough, I think I work more with customer success than marketing sometimes. Yeah.
That's cool though, because you are in the customer marketing team.
Yeah.
A subset of the marketing team, but being even closer to customer success.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And
what sort of things are you doing with them? What sort of throughout the week or day by day, what are you talking to them about?
So if you ask them, they would tell you that I'm a professional harasser. Is that the word, harasser?
Yeah.
Because I always ask them for stuff, to contact a customer, to contact a customer, to get someone on a success story, to get a visual. Yeah, I mean, they're my entry to customers, right? So we're always talking. Yeah. And also they have the most knowledge of how the customers use the platform. So it's just so interesting talking with them and seeing the questions that they get, their challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see my role as being kind of a enablement for them.
Yeah, cool. So you kind of you're able to help them do their job better.
Exactly.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Okay. Runner, He's running faster than us.
Hello.
To be fair, we're not riding
We're at 9.
really hard. You're on an electric bike, so I thought, let's not go too fast because I will just be puffed and you'll be like, whew.
Yeah.
One thing I've always found as well in marketing is it's difficult to get close to the customer sometimes.
Yeah,
you know,
it
you
is.
kind of like, you say, hey, can I come along to this meeting? Or
Yeah.
can I talk to a customer? And like, why do you want to talk to them? You don't need to talk to them.
Yeah.
What's your approach to that? Obviously in customer marketing, you need to be super close to the customer to
Yeah.
hear their voice.
True. Yeah.
How do you approach it?
Well, okay, this is gonna be like we're not paid for that, but we have this amazing tool that's called Chorus.
Okay, cool.
And basically what Chorus does is it records customer calls
Yeah.
and it summarizes, it tells you the different topics you talked about.
Cool. A bit like
and-
Gong. Have you heard
Maybe.
of Gong?
No.
No, you haven't?
I mean, I
Oh.
know who they are, but I feel like they do so many things.
Yeah.
I never really knew what the platform was
Sure, okay,
about.
yeah.
But I
They're
think
also
it's-
not sponsoring this episode, but I
Yeah,
just thought
yeah.
throw
Maybe
that
you
out
should
there.
reach out to them though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think this has been of huge help to me when I started off because, of course, like when I don't know anything, then I don't want to join like live
Yeah.
sessions, but there are like
amazing,
hundreds
yeah.
of sessions with
Yeah.
different customers. So
Because you can just be sat there, like it doesn't mean you need to be in the meeting and trying to bring some kind of value. You're just sitting there listening to recordings.
yeah, when you start off
Mm.
in the first few weeks, there's like so much information that
Yeah.
you need to get, and that was all about me learning what the customers ask, what their usual questions are.
Yeah.
But now that I know a bit more about the platform, I do join customer calls,
Okay,
and
cool.
I'm the one who interviews them for the success stories, for
Yeah.
example. So I do feel like I'm pretty close to them.
Yeah. That's really cool. And when you just jump on a call, like when you're joining a call that's not a customer story call,
Yeah.
success story call, what's like how do you pitch the value of you being there? Like what value do you bring in being there? Or do the people just understand that there's value in you being close to the customer?
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be super interesting because I'm mostly shadowing the calls. So
Okay.
they're just saying, yeah,
Yeah.
this is Anne, our customer content marketeer. She's just here to listen and learn,
Yeah.
and yeah, most of the time there's not really a
Yeah.
value like the value's for me, but for the customer there's
Sure.
like 0. So
Okay. That's fine. That's cool.
I mean, I'm a really fun person.
Yeah.
They get to meet me, which is high value,
Yeah.
but otherwise no.
Be like, we're going to bring along a really fun person, and that's the value. Okay, and this has been a fantastic interview. I think I only have one last question for you, Anne. While we finish up our ride through Vondel Park, all the runners, the cyclists, it's been fantastic. My last question is, if there are companies out there who, you know, like the ones potentially I've worked at, who aren't doing a lot of customer marketing, you know, they get people in the door, hand them over to customer success, and that's about it.
Yeah.
What would you say to them, and how could they start to think about getting started?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, I saw this metaphor the other day and I thought it was brilliant because it is exactly the way I see it too. It's like content marketing, the way it's like in most companies right now. It's like this bucket with a hole at the bottom, and you can fill it in as much as you want. If you have holes at the bottom, then you're never gonna have a full bucket.
Yeah.
And what I see our team is doing is we're patching that hole so that we can have a full bucket and
Nice.
keep the sand customers in.
Awesome.
And
Love that. Because no matter how much sand you put in, if it just falls out the bottom,
yeah,
what's the point?
if they just leave and if you don't have
Yeah.
happy customers, then yeah. And happy customers are also a great way of getting new customers because, you know,
Yes.
they talk. Like if you have
Totally.
like unhappy customers,
They
yeah.
also talk.
yeah, they talk most when they're
Yeah.
unhappy. So
Yeah. Super cool.
So my recommendation would always be to think about your whole funnel, think about the bottom of the funnel, and what we do is, so you know the classic funnel is usually just like this.
Yes. Triangle. That was an impromptu high five.
Sorry.
Are you talking about this one that goes like this and then it goes out like that?
Yeah.
Love
So
it.
it's a bow tie.
It's like a
So
bow
it's
tie.
not just one.
Yeah.
It's actually a bow tie. So there's like this whole before signature part,
Yeah.
and then what we focus on is the after signature part.
Where it comes back out
Yeah.
at the bottom. I love that. That makes a whole lot more sense to me. I remember when I saw that bow tie, I was like, This makes so much more sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more sense than just top of the funnel, bottom, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, because
Yeah.
it goes further than that.
Yeah. So they could start maybe Google bowtie funnel or something like that, and people could start to think about how do we start to think about our funnel more as more of a bow tie. That's an action for people.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that.
And
Very
that would
cool.
be the action point.
That would be the action point.
Start applying the bow tie funnel.
Start applying the bow tie funnel. Well, this has been fantastic, and we're going to let you get to the office. I think this is your turn. Up here, there's a turn.
It is.
How have we done it? We've just come to the exact right spot.
It's crazy,
It's
right?
crazy. You're heading off to the office.
Insane.
This has been phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye, Anne. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Content Marketing Commute. I hope you've really enjoyed the video. It's been a test of stepping up the production value, and I hope I can do more of it. If you have enjoyed this episode, please do subscribe. Let a friend know about it. I'd so appreciate it. Let a content marketer in your life know about the podcast. And we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.